My name is Richard Ettl. I'm the co-founder and CEO of SkyCell. Today I would like to share with you why it's not only important to innovate on how we move people, but actually how we move goods around the world. And we specifically focus on moving pharma around the world, something that we take every day. To put it a little bit in context, we spend around 11 billion to transport 1.1 trillion pharma sales around the world. So that's quite a bit of money, and still a lot of things go wrong. So roughly 2.5 to 12 billion is lost every year. So this is a big challenge to solve. On top of it, it's quite unsustainable. Most of packaging solutions used in the pharmaceutical industry are one way. So 80% are actually flown one way around the world. So we're talking about 1 million packages that are thrown away, the size of these chairs put together and this high. So this is the garbage that is for one pallet flying around the world. This is emitting 40 million tons of CO2. So that's actually a very difficult number to grasp. Like before, how do you put it into relation? So this is how a box typically looks like. Very thick walls, one pallet inside. This is the garbage that you would see outside of a factory when they throw away these hundreds of boxes every single day. On top, actually the world has changed. Average temperatures have risen significantly and the extremes have gone up. So the solutions that may have been good in the 90s are no longer working today. So 30 degrees Celsius on a hot day, that's the new normal. 40 degrees is the more extreme one, and they don't work. The pharma industry is also trying to commit to net zero. Some are saying we want to do this until 2030. Some are extremely aggressive on saying until 2025, like Merck. So sustainability is now on the agenda of every single pharma company. Why is this the case? There will be fines if you throw stuff away. And we're talking about $500 to $2,000 to throw away these boxes. We're talking about €100 or $100 per ton. So all of a sudden, there is an economic incentive. So this was to set the stage on why we decided to go into this industry. Now, pharma is made in very few places around the world, as we learned with COVID. Actually, in the case of BioNTech, it's made in 2 places in Germany, then brought to Brussels, then flown to the US. So very few places in the world, and then you ship it to more than 100 countries globally. We are an expert in vaccines. So before the pandemic, we transported more than 250 million children vaccines. So I know a couple of things about transporting vaccines around the world. And so let's say we're transporting here children vaccines made in Brussels to, for example, Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. Then you would encounter at an airport sometimes 46 degrees Celsius, but it could be an extremely hot day in August and you have 60 degrees Celsius. And that wouldn't surprise you then all of a sudden that you would have loss rates of 10% around the world, or sometimes even more. So this is the reason why we came into existence. It's a combination of hardware. So we designed the specific hardware. But we also saw when we rent these containers out around the world, it is also about the software. Do we know where they are? So in 2012, we became the first mass adoption, to our knowledge, in IoT sensors. We have collected up until now 1.2 billion data points about the pharma supply chain. So we know more than the Roche and Novartis combined about their pharma supply chains. And last but not least, it makes a big difference in CO2. So we save on average 5 to 8 tons per use. So this is putting it all together. It makes us the cost leader, the total cost leader. So it's a very compelling value proposition. If you lose less, it makes it significantly cheaper to use. But also on the sustainability side, we're talking about up to 50, almost 60% saving depending on the model that we replace. So what does that all mean? So in the future, when we transport 250,000 pallets a year, we save 25,000 pallets from going to waste. That's already a big number. But we also save 1.25 million tons. So that's the equivalent of 375,000 cars driving every year. Or that's 62,500 tons of landfill avoided, which is the equivalent of 3,750 trucks driving around. Where are we on this journey? The majority of the top 20 pharma customers are using us. Some are using us now almost exclusively. For one of our larger clients, this has saved them 125 million in their first year of use. It also saved them 55 million kilos of CO2 and made it into their annual report. We're now present globally from Australia to Canada. We have 16 of the largest airlines as our partners, and we have a strong investor base now, including state funds. And I hope I was able to give you a little bit of an idea of what it is, this thing that brings pharma into the pharmacies and that we pick up, and that this is a global supply chain. It has a significant CO2 footprint. A lot of things are still going wrong, but I think we can make a difference and reduce net cost and CO2. Thank you.